Okay. Oh. Okay. Back to treatment. Hopefully I fixed everything. Found out yesterday that my hour stream only resulted in 16 minutes being in my VOD. Yeah, I missed a lot in the VOD. I wonder how one of the first brood could simply vanish and leave no trace of her passage. Now I have my answer. The 13th. What chaos must consume that world? Vitra's grief for a lost sibling will be no mystery to Estinian. His hath been a life entwined with sorrow, even before he became host to Nidhogg's essence. Millennia have passed since I last saw her, but I see Azdaya in memory still, clear and vivid. So they managed not only to expand the fissure, but also manipulate it as one might a gate. Astonishing. Is there any chance I could learn more of how this feat was accomplished? I will tell you what I can. First, however, I must return to the High Crucible and arrange to replace the guardians you so handily destroyed. It will not do to leave the gate undefended. My apologies. We were perhaps a touch zealous in our rush to uncover the vault's secrets. If the constructs can be repaired, we would be happy to offer our assistance. That will not be necessary. Much as I retained spare vessels for myself, we keep duplicate guardians on hand for such eventualities. In any case, we should return to Ratsatan. Yeah. Due to the problem I was dealing with yesterday with dropped network frames, an hour's worth of stream turned out to only be 16 minutes. I'm lagging. High Crucible up here. While I am loath to keep Ryle waiting much longer, I cannot bring myself to leave before hearing more of Vitra's tale. 'Twas a most enjoyable expedition, for which I am grateful. As for mine evaluation, Alex, impress upon the Loperettes that a treasure vault is incomplete without daunting sentinels to test the mettle of any would-be intruders. Vitra speaks as if Azdaya is a lost cause, but I wager he feels differently in his heart of hearts. There is much about the Void Gate that I cannot even begin to explain. I must convince Vitra to share everything he knows. I promise we will discuss the Void Gate further, but I first must attend to the matter of the Vault's sentinels. As your instruments have no doubt informed you, Kapikulu has been reduced to so much scrap. Please bring a new one out of storage and see that it is conveyed to its post along with some few lesser constructs. Was it tomb robbers? Friends born of the Tower of Zot? By the sisters, do not tell me a blasphemy yet roams free. Oh, it's us. Yeah, sorry about that. We're the ones who destroyed it. Why such guilty faces? Surely it isn't you who are responsible for this. Oh. Yes, we are. Well, the details aren't important. I shall see it done immediately. Sorry, not sorry. And with that, the vault will soon be secure once more. Now, I believe you had questions. Quite a few, in fact, but I'd like to begin with the gate itself. It is still functional, yes? Indeed, which is why I saw it sealed with an alchemical forged lock, warded with my magics. Such power must not fall into the wrong hands. In truth, the primary reason for the vault's construction was to keep the gate hidden from the outside world. So much effort for such a little door. That little door you speak of leads to an abyss teeming with unspeakable horrors. That said, in its current state, it would admit only the lowliest of void scent, and from this side no man would be able to pass through. No man? I would think Alphino would fit, given a firm enough push. Yes, let's try that. Physical size is only one consideration. Its true restriction hinges upon the etheric density of the soul in transit. And yet you succeeded in expanding this diminutive portal and sending your simulacrum to the 13th. Thanks to my brilliant alchemists, I should have destroyed the anomaly when I found it, but instead I bade them devise a means to control it. After much experimentation, they accomplished the impossible. A method was conceived by which my magics could manipulate the fissure and transform it into a serviceable gate. But the process has long since been forgotten. Once I had given up searching for Azdaia, there was no need to preserve such esoteric and dangerous knowledge. Thus has the gate lain dormant for years untouched. Our own passage to the 13th was made relatively simple thanks to the Crystal Tower. An ancient mechanism channeled the tower's vast stores of energy to open a void gate, one bound to a covenant made with the Cloud of Darkness. Once that sovereign entity was beaten back, however, the covenant was broken, and the doorway severed from its connection to the void. Theoretically, it should be possible to reconnect the gate by forging a new pact with another void sent. But such deals usually end in betrayal and death. In any case, we should attempt to gain an understanding of the Bounty Gate. Mayhap you could resume the search for your sister? As I have already explained, I put those futile hopes to rest centuries ago. My place and my duty is here now. I had meant to ask, what prompted you to search for the vault in the first place? It was all Estinian's idea. I'm blaming him. As I recall, 'twas you who was chasing tales of undersea ruins. Well, as you have seen, the fabulous wealth from the stories is quite real. If not its rumored origin, but I'm afraid I must assert a prior claim. I've been adding to that trove for years, little by little. The time has come to spend it, that I might alleviate my people's suffering. Ooh, good. I like that. Then we are of one mind, if we had no intentions of taking it for ourselves. Isn't that right, my friend? Totally. I totally did want some of that gold myself. What are you thinking of, Ishtola? Your Excellency, would you object if I were to conduct a closer examination of the gate? I will make no attempt to open it, of course. I owe you and yours a debt that can never be repaid. Whatever boon you ask you ask of me, you shall have it. You are most gracious. I shall take full advantage of your permission. Would that I could join you in thy study, but the Loperettes will be anxious to receive my report. I beg my leave of you. And I must be off to Charlian as well. Mistress Kryle was eager to speak with you about that request, so please come back to the annex as soon as you are able. Farewell for now. We can discuss my findings once I return. You'll not be rid of me so easily. You may now undertake the Chronicles of a New Era quest series, Myths of the Realm. Speak with the fresh-faced student at the Baldosian Annex to accept the first quest. The difficult part in all of this will be deciding how best to put these riches to use. Will you lend me your assistance in these deliberations? Of course. Thank you, Alls. Alls and I are in this together. I will follow her example. Bum 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 bum. Meanwhile, elsewhere. The 13th? That's a big throne. What the hell is this? More thrones? Since the breaching of a gate, but it was not instigated from this side. It was thrown open from the other, throne of the earth. Throne of fire. I too felt it. A rare occurrence, yes, but such a tiny portal is beneath our notice. There are more pressing matters at hand. This is definitely the 13th. An opportunity is upon us, the coming of which we have awaited for nigh on 10,000 years. We dare not let it slip our grasp. Throne of Wind? Yet we must not underestimate she who bested the cloud of darkness, me. Even restrained by a covenant, the cloud was no feeble wisp to be dispersed by some flesh and blood mortal. Water. Bah, let her come. I'll drown the world and watch this fleshling gasp for breath in her final moments. Who the fuck is this? Knight in Black. Your zeal is admirable, but forget not our cause. Think back on our struggles beneath this sunless sky. Remember why we cede not our will to fight. 'Tis time we set the war in motion and win redemption for our star. Ooh. can't wait for more 13th stuff. I've always loved the concept of the 13th. I hope you enjoyed the expedition at least. Otherwise, it was a heavy purse to pay for a treasure map leading to a treasure we couldn't keep. Sharing the wealth. Shall we begin? If we are to spend the treasure wisely, then we must first determine which groups would benefit most from monetary assistance. The poor. Some of my citizens may find it intimidating to speak with the satrap directly, so I'd ask that you act in my stead. Oz, you are to visit Akyali and Yedlimad. Speak with Matsuya and his people and listen to their grievances. Asinian, I bid you do the same at Palakistan. I shall be conducting my own inquiries at the Giant Skull grounds. Once you believe you have ascertained the needs of the populace, we can reconvene at Maghaduta. Will do. Where am I going first? I really need to do these role quests. I want to do them once I get one of each done. I'm doing Dancer. It's my last one to get up first. Oh, Oz, I was so glad to see you had returned unharmed. You've finished with the boat then? Yep, I have. Anything the village desperately needs. Well, I suppose Kalzal's loss hit us the hardest. I've been trying to find buyers for my fish, but although I sell a few here and there, it's so much more difficult than it was before. Everyone's still struggling to rebuild their lives. For now, we're just banding together as best we can. Speak with locals in Yedlamad, which is over here now. I'm so loud. Let's see what I can do to fix that later. But at least the dropped frames are fixed. Yeah, fixed. How fares the port? Well, it's in shambles, isn't it? The trade routes are open once more now that the danger is past, certainly. But no small number of merchants have had to sell their ships to make ends meet in the short term. Add to that the sailor we lost in the final days, and it's little wonder the flow of exports is no more than a pitiful trickle. If Kalzal and his consortium were still with us, I'm sure he'd have found a way to turn our fortunes around. Now that was a man who got things done. God's rest his soul. Don't trust you. Greetings and welcome, traveler. If this is your first visit to Thavnair, then you must try my special Amra Lassie. Its refreshing zest cannot be beat. What would such a cost? What could such a wonder cost you? You wonder? Normally I part with 3 bottles for the generous price of 19,800 gil. 19,800 gil. I mean, I have that, but I doubt it's worth it. But for you, I'm willing to go as low as even 10,000. You'd be practically stealing from me. No. You've already inflated the price, you're just making it seem like I'm getting a deal. By giving me a so-called discount. I am not Estinian. Estinian? Who is you're the one who was with that spear-toting fellow. Well, you can hardly blame a man for trying. The world may no longer be on fire, but we are still sifting through the ashes, so to speak. Sisters, spare me. We might... Oh, hey. Hey, big elephant guy. We might as well have that ugly tower back for the scant few travelers we see these days. I myself barely have the coin to buy at local prices. I tell you, if I didn't charge the odd adventurer a small fortune for afternoon tea, I'd be scavenging for scraps in the street. You have spoken to key local figures and gained an understanding of the populace's hardships. Barshan awaits your report at the Meghaduta. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. I have a feeling I'm not. I'm sure someone will say it in a future cutscene. I like pronouncing words properly. Well, properly is a strong word, actually. Accents kinda change the way something is pronounced. I really love this city. It has such good music. That's the place, I think. Why didn't I teleport here? My mind always goes blank when it comes to these things. Most of the time. Sometimes I actually use them properly. It would seem my stint on Vitra's back did not go unnoticed. I couldn't take 2 steps before another Savnarian was thanking me profusely for saving their home. Of course, you need the thanks. Ah, my advisor's returned. I've just made it back myself. Why do you retain this vessel now that your true form is known? You could have flown across the island in a fraction of the time. Be that as it may, the sight of a massive creature descending from the sky can be startling to say the least. And there are a few places I can enter comfortably without risk of flattening some cart or stall. And if you want to go, like, to the cafe, it would be a bit awkward to fit your big dragon body in there. Fair enough. As for my inquiries, the people of Palakistan were unanimous in their reply. They are surviving. Resources were stretched to the limit when refugees were pouring in, but they persevered with some assistance from Yedlamad. From what I understand, they have always been an independent community, hunters and foragers and the like, and I was assured that the jungle provides for the needs for the most part. Palakistan has weathered the disaster better than most, it seems. I myself heard good news, and bad. The quarrymen were cautiously optimistic, having just sold a full wagon of giant skull to a foreign trader. But such visitors are few and far between. Compared to our best years, the weight of stone leaving Thavnair has been light indeed. Our nation is small and isolated, its prosperity dependent on a steady stream of exports. We must identify any obstacles to the flow of trade so we may begin working to remove them. Tell me, what did you learn in Akyali and Yedlimad? Same stuff. Struggling, barely getting by. I see. Without a dedicated buyer, the average fisherman must struggle to offload his daily catch. Which is why I believe we should first address the lack of ships and shortage of able-bodied sailors in Yedlimad. I'm reminded of a child I spied as I made my way back to the palace. His father lost at sea when the beasts sunk their vessel. So many variations of the same tragic tale are repeated over and over, so many lives lost. Yitra is one of my favorite dragons. He's so caring. Enough grief to drown in if we let ourselves be overcome, but we will not. All's Asinian, I will consider the perspectives you've brought me, and devise a plan to help my people confront this adversity. Come, I would like you to be in attendance when I announce the proposal to my assembled functionaries. Are you going as little kid or dragon? Dragon, I see. Well, you still have the scar on your side from all the scales you gave. When I see it, it looks painful.
Thank you for your attendance.
Hey, Vitra.
The riches the Radiant Host have retrieved were hoarded in Al-Zadar's name. A fortune I set aside for a future day of need. And lo, that day hath come. May it aid our wounded city in reclaiming its vibrancy and vigor.
I love his voice.
In better times, I would leave such a task to our capable Ahawan. God's rest his soul.
Oh, I miss that guy. He was a good character.
Finding myself bereft of his counsel in the here and now, I will assume the responsibilities of mine office directly. Firstly, the treasure shall be sold for more convenient currency. Thence, invested into the trading port of Yedlamad. Our merchants must have their operations restored, their ships rebuilt. Commerce must flow once more. None were spared the tragedy of the final days. Of this, I am well aware. But an absence was created by the loss of Kalzar's consortium. And by filling it, we provide new means for our fishermen, our artisans, and others to bring their wares to distant markets.
This seems to be going well.
And what of the children who were left without family to care for them?
Yes, exactly. What about the children with no family? The orphans?
That is a concern which weigheth heavily upon my mind. A simple gift of coin will soon be exhausted, leaving these young souls adrift on the fringes of our society. Nay, a proper solution is needed, one which doth guarantee their welfare for years to come. Thou hast surely seen how other nations rise to meet this challenge, adventurer. What dost thou deem the wisest course?
Or am I actually having a choice here? Adelshire's orphanage was funded through trade in highly coveted goods. Let's say it takes a village to raise a child.
Of course. We must all look out for one another.
Exactly. We must all look out for one another.
This idea into practice. A contract shall be written, requiring all who receive of our Zadar's treasure to commit a portion of their future earnings towards the running of an orphanage.
I like that.
Now, such an influential policy is deserving of a worthy name.
What's the name? What's the name going to be? Something with Kalzal seems appropriate.
A fitting candidate. Kalzal should be remembered, not as the blasphemy which terrorized Thavne, but as a hard-working and generous man who brought much wealth to our shores. Do any among you object to this proposition? Many here lost loved ones to the beasts.
In that time of strife, any one of us could have broken. Any one of us may have been taken by despair. When I think of Kalzal, I feel no hatred. Only a stinging regret that we could not save him as well.
I like that answer.
Isn't that right, men?
This bodes well for that boy. Murad, was it? Perhaps he can cut ties with that shady peddler.
Then let it be done. Henceforth, this initiative shall be known as the Kalzal Foundation.
There's a nice ring to it.
Nabdeen, thou art to assemble a patrol and ensure that no child in this city liveth in squalor. Clerks, see to the management of our funds and make haste. Our citizens must not suffer a day more than is necessary.
Dragon and man, side by side in pursuit of a brighter morrow. Reminded of Ishgard.
Same here. I'll take the gold. Bum, bum, bum. Bridging the Rift is the next quest. Vitra is warming to his role as satrap. Clearly all those years behind the curtain were not spent napping. Bridging the Rift. Thank you for putting forth Kalzal's name. Those whose lives be enriched will take comfort in seeing his legacy. Yeah, I missed that. You will forgive me for not speaking sooner, but I bear a message from Archon Ishtola. She asked that you meet her at the High Crucible at your earliest convenience. Understood, thank you. Ishola must have finished her study of the Void Gate. Shall we hear what she has to say then? I will go with you. I thought the satrap would be too busy setting up the foundation. My clerks have been the well-oiled cogs of this administration since before Awan assumed the office. They understand what needs to be done, and I am curious to learn what conclusion your Archon has reached concerning the gate's unique construction. As you wish, allow me to lead the way, Your Excellency. I'm so excited to learn more about the 13th. Especially, Xenos' Void Scent. I really want to know what the fuck, who that Void Scent was. Shall we hear what your scholarly... Oh, the camera messed up. There we go. Shall we hear what your scholarly comrade has to say? For one who claims it is too late to save his sister, Vitra seems awfully interested in whatever revelations Ishtola might have to share.
Right, here we all are.
Yeah, here we all are.
You discovered something new.
Must have.
I took a closer look at that device. I was able to determine how it keeps the Void Gate sealed, but not how it might instead be employed to expand the opening. For that, I would need to reference the technique developed by Vitra's alchemists, no records of which appear to have survived the intervening years.
We know this, so why have you sent for us? Have you learned aught of value or not?
I think she has. Oh, no, never mind.
Patience, good sir. One must introduce the subject before launching into specifics.
Oh no, you did find something? You're just waiting to tell us?
From what we understand, travel between worlds is accomplished by passing through the nebulous rift which exists between them. Picture, if you will, the moment you were called to the first.
Throw wide the gates.
You touched a focus of some kind to help the Exarch pinpoint your location. His summoning spell then channeled the energies of the Crystal Tower to begin your journey to his world. The magics tore a hole in the wall separating source and shard, and cast you into the intervening nothingness. In that place, the laws of nature hold no sway. Yet even through this realm of temporal and spatial instability, you were borne safely to your destination in the first.
Yes?
The feat that guided you across such an unimaginable distance, both physical and metaphorical, was nothing short of a miracle.
Then what of the many voidsent found in the source? Who guides them here, and how?
Who guides here?
An excellent question.
This is a good question.
Though there are several methods by which the Void's denizens might intrude upon our world, the rituals of summoning are the most typical. For example, let us consider the Gargoyle, a creature of middling power.
Oh. Those?
To call upon such an entity, the prospective summoner must force open a void gate.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The portal lasts but a moment and is relatively small, allowing only an imp or other lesser being to squeeze through with their physical body intact. Our more powerful gargoyle, however, is too large for that. Creating a gate big enough for him would require vast amounts of energy, far beyond the reserves of any one mortal practitioner. Instead, 'tis far more common to bring over only the entity's soul. We had a taste of that ourselves when a certain exarch dragged us to the first.
Oh. That makes sense.
And just as our bodies remained in our world, the Voidsent's physical form is left behind in the 13th.
And then the statues.
Once at its destination, the summoned soul is granted a temporary shell to inhabit. In the gargoyle's case, a stone effigy has proven a suitable vessel.
I like this lore.
Wait. You said that Voidsent must be called here deliberately by someone in the source, reeled in like a fisherman with his catch.
Exactly. For a being to navigate the chaos of the rift, with or without form, there must needs be a guiding agent on the other side.
So does that mean there needs to be a guiding agent for us?
When the hordes poured forth from Alag's Great Gate, it was the technologists who drew them through. Though to my knowledge, planar fissures are in essence natural passages between our world and the void, which require no such guidance to traverse. Why is only the boundary between the source and the 13th so fragile? So much so that it often tears open of its own accord.
That is something I'm also curious about.
I believe solving that mystery is key to understanding travel between the source and its reflections.
Why the 13th in the source? Why is the...
How do you intend to get your answers?
Why is it like that?
No, the danger is too great.
Perhaps. But what some call danger, others think of as adventure.
Yes, adventure.
Were you not listening to my tale? Never mind that the means to expand the gate has been lost to the ages. Even could you force the portal wide enough, you would be greeted by an army of murderous horrors the very instant you step through.
I do that all the time.
I assure you I was most attentive. And I agree that to go alone would be certain death.
Bum, 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 bum.
But if I were to bring along one who has already braved the 13th and humbled the cloud of darkness,
I've done a whole bunch
well,
more stuff.
I imagine my chances would be much improved.
Count me in.
I had a feeling you might say that. Once again, I put my life in your ever-reliable hands.
You can trust me, Ishtar.
That said, as much as I would like to march straight back to the Void Gate, there is the small matter of being unable to open it without the Satrap's personal authority.
Be Satrap.
As I've said before, I will grant you and yours any boon you choose to name, provided it does not endanger my people.
He's not going to give it. Let us.
You have my word that we will take every precaution. Not a single void scent will be allowed to threaten Radzatan, assuming we manage to expand the portal in the first place.
You have a plan.
Actually, I had hoped you might help us with that. I presume the alchemists you retained supplied you with some explanation of their methodology.
That they did. House Daimir was overseeing the project.
Daimir. Ah, yes. The family associated with the great work.
I did not fully comprehend the theory, but their research began with a void scent which had slipped through the fissure. After a thorough examination, they created an arcane simulacrum possessed of similar qualities. A man-made void scent, if you will.
And
It was apparently indispensable in their efforts to enlarge the gate.
make a man-made void scent.
A man-made void scent.
Yes. Being great admirers of the Archons, House Daimir submitted detailed notes to Charlene's official committee. They expected praise and accolades for their simulacrum, and were thus devastated to be informed that their work had been classified as prohibited material.
If that's true, then those notes might still be stored in a forbidden archive somewhere. Not Google, of course, since that library had yet to be built. Which leaves us with...
With the restriction section of Numenon. We saved the world. We should be able to get into the restricted section.
Yes, it may very well hold a copy. In which case, I say we head directly to Charlene.
Unless you anticipate needing help to reach the high shelves, I see myself being of little use. Go on ahead. Still need to find Mirad and tell him about the Kalzal Foundation.
Okay, you go do that, Estinian.
Let us be on our way as well.
They are resolved to venture into the void. Do I sit idly by?
Ba-ba-ba-bum. Bum. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Oh, hold on. Lashan? ... That's all he has to say. If we're to enter the Numenon restricted archives, there's a minimum of fuss, so we must secure the permission of the Forum. First, however, we shall need to enlist the cooperation of a member to broach the matter on our behalf. Who do you think might be inclined to assist us? No one springs to mind? What about Scholark Monty? He did come to Graha's defense during the inquiry, after all. That sounds good. To settle, let us head to Phenomenon and see if he's willing to help us once more. Shola is now accompanying you. Ooh. Okay, where am I going? This way? Over here. Can't they teleport with us? Did they change that? Yep, there she is. I apprenticed to Master Matoya at the age of 7, and labored under her tutelage for a full decade, and never had the chance to attend the studium. Neither did Thancred, as I recall. Soon after Master Louisoix took him in off the streets, he was put in the care of another Archon. His was a rigorous and practical education in the arts of espionage and survival. I sometimes wonder what my life might have been like had I pursued studies here instead. Should I wonder as well? Oh, never mind. 'Twas just an idle thought. Here? Nope. There he is. Ah, visitors, and quite esteemed ones at that. What may I do for you? Pray forgive the intrusion, Scholark, but we're hoping you might help us secure permission to enter Numenon's restricted archives. Oh, no furtive forays into the stacks this time, eh? I applaud this newfound sense of propriety, yet in all this wide world of comparative serenity, what so compels you to disturb a vault of forbidden wisdom? Important stuff. Fascinating. I had no idea such a technique existed. I would have been surprised if you had. If my assumption is correct, the research left behind by House Daymere has lain dormant in Charlene's archives for many centuries. And if you unearth this research, what then? Surely you don't intend to cross over into the void. That is, in fact, precisely what we intend. To what end, pray tell? To develop a method of traversing the rift, for one, and that I might keep my word to a distant friend. Set them aside, I have journeyed to the end of existence. I have heard, felt, and thought endlessly about the truth of our world, and the echo of its future. and yet I want to understand everything, to unravel it all down to its very last secret. What scholar worthy of the name would force open a void gate or two if a grand revelation was the promised reward? Marvelous. An audacious proposal worthy of Master Matoria herself. And after hearing the whys and the wherefores, I for one do not believe you would use your knowledge for ill. I see no reason not to resent your request for the forum's consideration. Although, your petition would be better received if you also had the support of another well-placed acquaintance. Who would that be? Oh, him. Why, Master Fortunato, of course. He can hardly ignore an earnest request from his dear children's most treasured comrades. I was hesitant to approach him directly, but there's no denying that having Master Fortunato on our side would tip the balance in our favor. Very well. We will pay a visit to the Levier estate and plead our case. One last thing before you go. I would consider it a personal favor if you might share with me the discoveries you made at making the void. My appetite for knowledge is every bit as insatiable as yours, I'd wager, so if you could see your way to indulging an old man's curiosity. Of course, we can do that for you. Of course, Scholar. We will be sure to pass on any revelations. Now we need to go to over here. Journey's End. Journey's End. There we go. Better come with me, Stola. There you are. Mistress Oz, Mistress Ishtola, how may I be of service? We've come to speak with Master Fortunato. Is he home, by any chance? Yes, the master is in residence. I shall inform him that he has guests. Well, Emiliance would invite you inside for tea, but I assume this is not a social visit? It's a matter of import to discuss? Yes. Then pray proceed. You have my full attention. You want to go into the void. Well, I suppose I should praise you for following the proper protocols this time around. Scholar Monty expressed much the same sentiment, I assure you. You'll not attempt to circumvent this forum's authority again, unless it is absolutely necessary, of course. Of course. You do understand that restricted archives are restricted for good reason, yes? No pressing needs exist, and why risk the consequences of employing this forbidden knowledge? The brother who missed his sister. She was his guardian and his friend, a selfless hero who crossed the rift between worlds to save her homeland from horror and suffering. But the brother has given up on thoughts of reunion. He spends his efforts elsewhere, watching over a people yet healing from the flames of the final days, loyal to his duty while betraying the longing in his heart. 'Tis no vital mission, perhaps, reuniting these siblings, but it feels a worthy cause to pursue all the same. As one who feared losing his own loved ones, and spent years in research to prevent it, surely you appreciate how painful such separation must be. Reflections are still very much a mystery to us. Offering to share your experiences in the first should constitute a fair exchange for our cooperation. Do not celebrate just yet. The forum must still be convinced. I will add your request to the list of today's deliberations. Deliver the decision to you at the Baldesian Annex. That's where we're going? Okay. A mission in Mordona. Oh, is that the, that one raid? That raid stuff? With the, 12? Fresh-faced student. I think that is it. That was pretty quick. So, what did the forum decide? To put it bluntly, Master Matoya has burned some bridges here in Charlian and salted the earth for good measure. When it became clear that a student was the petitioner in question, well, no few members voiced their discontent. Then the chamber was reminded, in no uncertain terms I might add, of the incredible debt we owe to you and your companions. That served to silence the grumbles and siphon a few spines, and it was agreed that that allowing you to enter the archives was the least we could do in return. That is wonderful news. Thank you both for speaking on our behalf. Yes, well, as I am sure you are aware, this permission was not extended lightly. Forbidden knowledge is to be treated with the utmost caution, and there will be repercussions if it is not. I wish you well in your endeavor and bid you good day. He's embarrassed. Ever the same, that one. Uncompromising? Aye. But that very stoicism is exactly what Charlian needed to guide it through not one but two exoduses. If I were but 5 years younger, I'd cast aside my lectern and join you on your adventure in a heartbeat. Could still come. That went rather well, I think. As a child, I dreamed up any number of schemes for getting my hands on those forbidden tomes. Now we can simply walk in through the door. Our focus will be on finding House Damia's research notes, of course, but the thought of so much knowledge at my disposal has me feeling a little giddy. You'll be heading directly to the archives from here, I presume? Yes, you presume correctly. Then you'll want to speak with the index page when you arrive. It's been instructed to grant you access to the restricted section. Excellent. Once again, we thank you for your help. Oh, it was my pleasure, believe me. May you find the knowledge you seek. Shall we? And she's accompanying me again. Over here. Oh, hey, Pudding Way. I guess my pudding wasn't needed to stop the final days after all, but I persevere. Once people taste it, they'll be even happier than they were before the apocalypse started. I just know it. I believe in you, Pudding Way. To think the set of instructions I laughingly imagined may actually exist, but yawns away from where you found me napping. If I had known of Ozdal's the Third's exploits sooner, I could well have saved myself days of research. Even a children's book might have pointed me in the right direction. To achieve the impossible, one must needs be flexible of mind and look beyond conventional wisdom. A lesson I had already learned, but clearly not taken to heart. Okay, who am I talking to? Someone over here. Index page. Archon Ishtola and guest identified. Do you wish to proceed into the restricted section? Guest. Follow me, if you would. Watch your step, and please note that the use of naked flames is discouraged. Of course. The restricted section. This is a lot of restricted knowledge.
If House Damir's notes are to be found anywhere, it will be here. Let us begin.
Yes, let us begin. Finding anything, Ishtola? So many books I've yet to read. Yes, we are here for one specific volume. You needn't remind me. Weighty tome, untitled journal. Today, in a world not my own, I met the most beautiful void-born creature. She was so unlike her ravenous brethren. Eyes blazing not with hunger, but trembling like a candle's flame, threatening to flicker out at any moment. I wonder if she is even the proper word. Such distinctions seem inconsequential, insignificant even. All that matters is the love I feel for this exquisite, transcendent being. Though you are tempted to read more, this does not seem to be the volume you are seeking. It is void-related. Okay. Leather-bound book. Weighty tome. In the year 1564 of the sixth astral era, the Amalja summoned Ifrit, a patron god. Accounts described the being as a gigantic lizard-like being with potent command of fire-aspected magics. If we consider that primal summoning is an act fueled by faith and prayer, it is unsurprising, if not expected, that the resulting deiform entity should manifest the appearance and powers with which it is attributed by its worshippers. What then might emerge from the ether should one believe in an almighty omniscience attempt the same ritual? The scholar himself grace us with his presence. Some other embodiment of divine sagacity? Could this man-made god truly be all-knowing? And if it were, whence would such knowledge arise? I myself have many questions concerning the nature of the ancient world. With no spell to transport me back to the days of old, should I instead summon a being possessed of encyclopedic wisdom of every age? Yet with no means to verify its pronouncements, how could one be certain they were true? Though your mind spins with the possibilities discussed therein, this does not seem to be the volume you are seeking. This must be it over here. How does one get up here? The following page details an advanced method for manipulating rifts spanning apertures as devised by Nuhashan, the 9th patriarch of the House Damir. We present these research notes to the faculty of Charlene's Studium as both a token of our friendship and an expression of our boundless admiration. And we found it. something you'd like to show me? Do you? My apologies. I flipped through but a single book and was completely absorbed by the contents. Used a book. Well done, Alls. I think you may have found our prize. Like the book design.
Yes, the ether signature is unmistakable. I've felt the traces of House Damir's resonance many times at the Great Work. Time to see what all the fuss was about.
Well, open it.
Among the ranks of the Voidsent, there exist entities with the power to call forth their brethren from beyond. The species known as Atomos, however, is uniquely prodigious in this regard.
I recognize those.
From its distended maw, it can expel an endless procession of void-born creatures. A talent which sorely tested the Radiant Host in its battles against these abominations. Surmising that the entity itself was acting as a void gate, we endeavored to capture a small specimen and subsequently examine its physiological structure. Our findings revealed that the Atomos had absorbed a planar fissure into its own flesh, which it could expand at will into a functioning gate. Upon further analysis, we identified an ethereal wave pattern emitted during this process. A pattern we were able to emulate by passing crystal-stored ether through a specially designed prism. We proceeded to embed said prism into an arcane simulacrum, thus completing what we have dubbed our artificial Atomos.
The artificial void sin.
How could I have been so blind to the possibilities? This species, not to mention its ability to summon Voidsent, has been discussed among academics for years now.
It was right in front of your face the whole time.
Just before the advent of the 7th Umbral Calamity, we received reports of Atomos sightings from every corner of Eorzea. Surely you've at least heard the tales.
Totally, I have heard tales.
And still, House Damir went and built a mock Atomos of their very own. I'm not surprised the Archons consigned their work to a restricted archive. It was no easy task, but at last we've unearthed the volume we've been searching for.
Take a few
I'd be
more books
lying
with
if
you.
I said I wasn't tempted to stay longer. See what other forbidden titles might be lurking on these shelves?
Why not? Let's do it.
Ah, but that would be abusing the very special privilege we've been granted now, wouldn't it? Better not.
Why not take advantage of it? Collection. I forgot to have this. As much as I would love to start crafting the Atomos, I'm afraid this is far outside my field of expertise. Fortunately, we know a Hainish alchemist who would be delighted to involve herself in our House Daymere project. Our business here is concluded for the moment. Please pass on our regards to the forum. Your message will be conveyed. Should you wish to indulge in more forbidden literature, I will be here. Patron mode disabled, security mode engaged. If anyone can help us, Nidhana can. I say we return to Thabner and look for her at the great work. Ah, there she is. All these sallow, sleep-deprived faces, the eyes still burn with fiery zeal. Some things never change. Shola tells me you are pursuing a most fascinating study, and that you want me to be a part of it? Yes, we are. I have no doubt you will be interested. The research log should speak for itself. Will it now? By the sisters, this is the mark of House Daymere. I never even knew such a work existed. You should. It was sequestered in Numenon's restricted archives, after all. It was, but that means every word within is forbidden knowledge. A forbidden tome filled with forbidden research, and you put it right into my unsuspecting hand? Yeah, we did. I can hardly wait to read it. I would not be able to wait to read it either. Forbidden knowledge is the best. To think that Daymere were developing such marvelous techniques so long ago. How many innovations have been lost over the centuries, I wonder? Now that you've glanced over the notes, what say you to helping us build a new mock Atomos? I say yes, 1,000 times yes. Work on a Daymere project that had even the redoubtable scholars of Charlian trembling in their sandals? No alchemist of the great work could resist. You are a woman after my own heart. Oh, I suppose I should ask, what do you mean to do with this big-mouthed simulacrum once we've built it? Go into the void. So, there's a secret void gate, and it's sealed into runes at the bottom of the bounty? Today is a day of revelations indeed. The purpose of our man-made Atomos is to expand this hidden portal. Then I will need to see it for myself, I think. Manipulating rift-spanning apertures is not the sort of thing you want to attempt without first taking into account every single factor. Then by all means, accompany us to the vault. I plan to lead us back there shortly, once we've finished gathering the components I require. Charlian's mark is provided to raw aquamarine and pure water crystals, but I might need help obtaining a small quantity of astrally infused water. Such a liquid, you need go no further than the Font of Maya. The aesthetics of old once favored the place for their mere meditation, and the water which pools there now is known to enliven the flow of ether. That sounds perfect. If you would be so kind as to fill a flask at the pool, I'll petition Vitra to join us. The idea I have in mind won't amount to much without his authority to command the Void Gate. Shall we be about then? We meet back here anon. How far out is this? Not far. This place, the Font of Maya. Place where the baby almost drowned. Look out. astrally dense pocket. I like that statue. Do you have that flask for me? Yes, I do. Yes, this should suffice. Thank you, Als. I'll take this one. Void Theory. Look who I came across. Asinian seemed in need of diversion, and we, in turn, may have need of his lance. Right then, now that our little party is assembled, let us make our way to the ruins. Will we have need of Matsia's boat again? Not this time. Once the Shola informed me of our destination, I arranged for a vessel to be made ready at Akyali. Your Excellency is ever the gracious host, shall we? Yes, shall we? The ship is yours to command. Our thanks. We set sail at once. Oh, this is so exciting. Alsdal's legacy, to see the truth of a legend with my own eyes. All aboard for the treasure vault. He laid waste to them ere I could utter a single word. Pravitra, he really should have spoken with Estinian before we left. I shudder to think what we've cost them in terms of construct materials. I thought we cleared this place of constructs the last time we came through, but seemed a few stragglers remained. Oh. We killed more? Oh, poor Varshan. He just replaced them.
The ruins alone were impressive enough, but I never dreamed such a treasure lay hidden in the depths of the bounty. It may have been helpful to know this device existed, Your Excellency.
Oh, she's calling him out.
My apologies. The gate was a secret I shared with none but my closest advisors. I feared for what might happen should those with ill intentions learn of its existence.
What is it you're doing now?
I have a feeling she's about to make one.
There's something I wish to verify. The NOAA reports claim that a short stint into the void carries little risk of etheric imbalance. Should one suffer an injury, however, or if one's expedition drags on longer than intended, that risk becomes significantly greater.
Okay.
Graha theorized that a warding scale would confer protection from the void's corrupting influence. but I would prefer to test that hypothesis before we set foot in the 13th ourselves.
So, this is an experiment of sorts.
Yes, an experiment. Tell me, how would you go about testing the efficacy of the warding scale?
A familiar. Might as well go myself.
And how would you do that? The gate is still too small for any of us to pass through.
With effort. That's how.
Estinian is correct, which is why I've elected to send a familiar in our stead. Now, a lowly imp can navigate a fissure, no matter how narrow. Which means an arcane entity of similar stature should be able to manage the same.
Okay.
I hadn't wanted it to come to this, but no other familiars will do, I'm afraid.
I mislike the sound of that. What manner of fiend does she mean to summon?
I don't know.
From ocean rise and cloudbank form, from mountain spring and rainfall storm, from river flow and life be born. Water,
I like this.
water, frost and fire!
That was cute.
Ready your arms. I fear she's been possessed.
No, she's not been possessed.
Oh, come now. That was adorable.
I agree, Nitana. Nixies?
Though not my first choice. These familiars I conceived of as a child have the best chance of fitting through the gate.
Well, that's why you're embarrassed.
I only wish my younger self had considered a more dignified ending to the creation ritual.
Come on, Ishtola, that was adorable.
In any case, these two should serve us well. This one will bear a warding scale. And when they return from the 13th, we can observe how the talisman, or absence thereof, has affected the progress of the Void's corruption. If I could impose upon you to open the gate. Your Excellency?
Ah, yes, of course.
We should also be wary of void scent slipping through while we conduct our experiment. Estinian, you are to keep Nadana safe from harm.
As you say.
You had best be on your guard as well.
Froth and foam.
Oh, are you volunteering to join the Nixies? I could shrink you down, you know.
How dare you?
Let us begin, shall we? Nixies, into the void.
How's this gonna turn out? Sisters, save me. I will never see Y'shtola the same way again. Froth and foam indeed. I struggle to picture Y'shtola as a little girl. Easier to believe she sprang fully formed from one of Master Matoya's cauldrons. Every time I come here, it reminds me of that dark portal above the Crystal Tower and the final lash and of Azdaya's tail as she plunges into the void. We need to wait for a time to ensure a meaningful result. Be patient and keep watch for any intruders. Look at Nidhana doing a little dance.
I think we've waited long enough.
Okay, let's see the results.
Nixies, return to my side.
Oh, one of them's messed up. Oh, poor Nixie.
Thank you, little one. You did well.
Oh, the poor thing. Its essence has been irrevocably warped.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
We're out of time. I must reseal the void gate.
They're coming through!
In the name of Alzadal III, I bar this door unto the void.
Well, that was close.
Well, that was a sharp lesson in the dangers of void gates.
And what of our experiment? I'd say the results speak for themselves.
The unprotected Nixie has suffered extensive etheric corruption. As Nidhana observed, it's well on its way to becoming a void scent. The one merged with the talisman, however, appears unaffected. I sense no changes to its equilibrium.
Okay, that's good.
Rest now, little ones.
Graha's theory was correct then.
So it would seem. But while our second familiar was untouched by void energies, the talisman itself shows signs of degradation.
Okay, that's not good.
It was, of course, originally designed to shield the soul from primal tempering. It stands to reason that etheric corruption of a different sort would affect it differently. We may need to modify the warding scale's design to account for the 13th's uniquely unstable ether.
You've said much of the Void's instability, but my imagination fails me. What manner of place is this broken world?
Ah, my apologies. I forget that not all of us spend our days sequestered in dusty archives. The 13th is a reflection of the source that was drowned in a flood of darkness. In Emmett Selk's own words, this tragedy was a result of the Ascians' attempts to force a rejoining. They erred in their haste, and made of that world a useless void. You remember Una Kalhai, the unusual child we met during our troubles with the Warring Triad. He explained the fate of the 13th thus. The champions of that ill-fated world used the stone known as Auracite to contain the power of primals. But those self-same heroes were gradually corrupted by the Auracite's bleeding energies, transforming into fiends with an endless hunger for ether. By the time anyone thought to oppose them, Light's strength had grown too feeble, and the balance of the 13th tipped into eternal darkness. It was Elidibus, as I recall, who rescued Una Kalhai's spirit from his final battlefield. But I wonder if there were others whom the emissary saved from oblivion.
There's, what's her face? Ardbert's companion, the elven swordswoman. I'm very happy I did the, Warring Triad and the
Silver,
role quests.
the adventurer who traveled with
Role
Warriors
quests.
of Light.
Yes.
And you say she was another of Elidibus's pawns?
Yes.
I see. So Ciela, or rather Silver, was beguiled by the same dreams of heroism as Una Kalhai. And what of your own experience? Will you tell us of what you observed during Noah's expedition?
Noah's expedition. When was that?
I can picture it now. The sunless, Stygian expanse, infested with legions of ether-starved monstrosities. A void in every sense of the word.
What you have described in such lurid detail is exactly why I hesitate to encourage you.
Worry not, great Vritra. Our journey into the 13th is but the first leg of a longer voyage. A voyage that shall lead us to other reflections, to new mysteries and discoveries. And I mean to be there every step of the way.
I can't wait for that. I want to see more of the reflections.
But first, I must focus on refining the warding talisman.
Then I can begin work on constructing an artificial Atomos. Or I could, if I had the relevant manuals to hand. Might I be so bold as to request access to the Satrap's family archives?
Poor Vitra, he's so unsure.
Your Excellency?
Oh, yes. That can be arranged. I will speak to my officials upon our return.
We will see you back in the city then.
poor Vitra. Seeing the Void's terrors firsthand was an experience, but I doubt fear of such creatures is at the root of Vitra's hesitation. I think he's afraid of what the Void might have done to his sister. The Satrap's duty. Once Nidhana succeeds in replicating the mock Atomos, this door into the 13th will be ours to open. Will you be crossing the threshold alongside us? I realize this is more my endeavor than yours. To be honest, I have no interest in visiting the Void myself. Might we discuss this later? There's something I must do first. Let me guess. I won't find out what he wants? If he's going? Until next patch. Why does everyone insist on being so secretive? I at least had good reason for not wanting to explain my Nixie ritual. Shall we proceed with our other preparations then? As we saw, the warding scale can be effective at protecting the bearer from other sources of etheric corruption. Nevertheless, the talisman's durability will need to be improved if it is to withstand the Void's influence for a prolonged length of time. And I think that is a problem we can address with involving the brilliant but busy alchemists who created it. Who do we know who excels at this kind of structural augmentation? Structural augmentation. Garland Ironworks. An excellent suggestion. As I recall, Sid himself is no stranger to the Void and its volatile energies. With his experienced hand at the helm, I have every confidence that the Ironworks can strengthen the warding scale. Come, let us visit their operation in Ralgar's Reach and commission their best and brightest. Ralgar's. Junior Ironworks Engineer. Perhaps this young man can locate Sid for us. Owls, what brings you to the Ironworks? We have a commission for you and your president, actually, assuming he's available. Master Sid? Certainly. I'll see if he has a moment to free. Pleasure as always. I hear you have a job for us? Heading into the Void to find the lost dragon. That sounds almost pedestrian compared to your last adventure. Honestly, I don't know if you could say anything that would surprise me after Meteion and that bloody mess. Alright. Let's take a look at this talisman of yours. You said there were signs of degradation? It seems some matter of corrosion has set in around a scratch on its surface, as much as the Void's corruption seeped into Nero through his wounds. In which case, our best bet may be to simply prevent the scale from being damaged in the first place. And how might we achieve that? We have a coating agent for strengthening trinkets and the like, but I'd be wary of applying any compound which might upset the scale's delicate alchemical balance. Far safer to dress it in armor. We'll construct a protective casing. One utilizing metal alloys with high ethereal conductivity, so as to not impede the talisman's primary function. A suit of armor, as you said. Nero has compiled data on the 13th, so I'll have him pitch in with the design just to be sure. If only it weren't such an ordeal to convince him to follow our safety protocols. I swear, I've never had such a reckless employee. In any case, we may need some time to untangle the particulars. Understandable. We know how busy your schedule is, and the final result will doubtless be worth the wait. The hard part would be ducking Jessie and her constant barrage of demands while we sneak around doing the fun stuff. We'll see what we can do. I think we can leave the rest in Sid's capable hands. Let's return to the great work and see how Nidhana is getting on with the mock Tomos. Can you bring me there? Like you did? No. I'm not going to do that. Okay. Side building. Yep, there it is. The insatiable curiosity of the alchemists has ever amazed me. Though I've largely left them to their own devices since we opened the gate together. I hope Nidhana is good news for us. I guess we'll find out.
Hey, Stola. The adjustments are going well, I hope?
Yes. Sounds like it.
'Tis a lengthy process, but the end is in sight, yes.
That's wonderful news. I myself had some good fortune searching through the Satrap's private records. What I found was a transaction log dated around the same period as when Alzadal's legacy was built. It included a purchase list of highly exclusive alchemical components, and I knew I'd discovered the key to making the artificial atomos.
And what's the key?
I then visited the High Crucible to commission the materials. After I'd explained my requirements, I was beset by volunteers insisting I allow them to help with the entire project.
The usual reaction to someone forcing open a void gate is to run for the hills. Harnish academics certainly are a different breed.
The alchemists of old were cut from a similar cloth. The unknown held no fear for them. Indeed, they were ever eager to seek new knowledge, regardless of the danger.
I like them.
And were you not also fearless? Heedless even, in your determination?
Yes, call him out.
My sire entered his dormancy before I was hatched. And so it was Ashdaya who kept my eggs safe and warm. It created a bond between us. Even long after I learned to fend for myself, I rarely strayed from her side. She was my guardian, my sister, my dear companion. And not a single day passes that I do not mourn her absence. No matter how deep the darkness, I would not surrender my search. I promised myself the time would come when we would once more take to the skies together.
That day will come. Probably next patch.
I am satrap now.
The Radiant Host is here to serve, Your Excellency.
Nabdeen, what is this about?
Yeah, what is it about?
Sir Estinian told us of your predicament. For centuries you have protected Rads at Han, never showing your true self, hiding behind a curtain and living only in service to the people. Your dedication meant more to us than your deceit, and so did we accept you as our rightful ruler. After all that you have sacrificed for this nation, did you imagine we would begrudge you your heart's desire? We survived the final days. We are a strong and proud people. We, the Radiant Host, will keep Thavnair safe in your absence.
Oh, I love this. So that can give him the push to
I am grateful for
be all
your
for
loyalty
this.
and for your encouragement. And yet,
Now you listen to me, Varshan. You are wearing that face, after all. As I have told you before, you are a little brother to us all.
Oh,
And if you are family, then so too is your sister. We are there for you if you need us. But do not ask us to sit by and watch while you abandon a sibling you have ached to rescue for millennia.
so many people are in support, Vitra.
We will succeed in opening the way. It is only a matter of time. All you need do is prepare to step through to the other side.
Your Excellency, I wanted to thank you for building the orphanage. It means so much that my sister and I will have a place to be together, safe and happy. And I hope that you and your sister can be together again too.
To protect them well, you must take heart.
take heart and protect them well. Such were the words I once said to you, and here I stand, failing to live up to them.
Practice what you preach.
If my heart is torn, I am fit to protect neither Ajdaya nor Radzatan. My people, I have come to a decision. Vashan will depart Thavnair for a time. My dragon self will remain in the palace, but only to conduct the satrap's most essential duties. While I am focused on controlling this vessel, there may be matters that escape my attention. I rely on you, my trusted friends, to watch over one another until I return.
Take care and fair fortune, little brother. Many tears would be shed should you come to harm.
I would not dare make you cry.
I love that. I wish next patch was already out. I have a feeling near the end of this patch. You surprised me, Estinian. For a lone wolf, you've shown an unusual degree of, shall we say, involvement in helping Vitra reach this conclusion. It was for the greater good. The worm's thundering sighs were keeping his citizens awake at night. and had travelers believing the place racked by some unnatural storm. What of your own answer then? You seem disinclined to venture into the void. When I was one with Nidhogg, his vengeful thoughts were my thoughts, his endless rage my rage, and the soul-chilling grief he nursed for Socor's death. I would not wish such agony upon a foe, let alone a friend and ally. If there is a chance we can spare Vitra that pain, then I will follow you. Any other former scions we should call on? I'd rather not bother our comrades with aught less than a dire threat to the star. We four should be sufficient for our purpose. Now, on to the specifics. Unlike the first, where the flood of light was halted before its devastation was complete, the 13th has been utterly subsumed by darkness. My plan, as such, is to explore the void in stages, withdrawing to safety after each brief foray. 'Twould be more convenient had we some manner of base camp nearer to the gate itself. One of the palace chambers should serve. Come, let us reconvene outside Meghaduta. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. I was put up in a guest room in the palace while I awaited my audience with Vitra. I expect we'll be given the use of something similar. Conducting our expeditions out of the Rising Stones would raise just as many questions as recruiting too many scions. At least here in Vasset Han, we might be expected to appear road-weary from our local explorations. Bum, ba, bum. And so we shall require suitable accommodations. Might we make something available for our guests? All the chambers are presently hosting the great mounds of treasure we carried out of the vault. Once the Foundation's activities begin in earnest, however, we can redistribute the trove and make a room or two ready for habitation. Good. Please inform me when you've completed the arrangements. Oh, I have a feeling this is going to be the end of this patch's MSQ. As you heard, we will have you settle in Meghaduta in due time. As ever, you are most gracious, Your Excellency. You risk yourselves to aid me in my search for Azdaia. Providing comfortable quarters is the least I can do. I only wish we knew more about our destination. The gods only know how long our explorations might possibly take, or what our chances of success might possibly be. Succeed or fail, I am grateful to you for convincing me to make the... Oh no. I just realized something. Things with open wounds in the void are more susceptible to corruption. No wait, never mind. He said his dragon stuff is staying behind. If his dragon stuff went, I have a feeling he'd be very susceptible to corruption because of the scales that are missing on his side. Succeeding or fail, I am grateful for you for convincing me to make the attempt. On that note, I will continue to the great work and lend what help I can to Nitana. If you've preparations to make ere we venture into the 13th, now is the time. All I need is my armor and my lance. Perhaps I'll train with the Radiant Host to pass the time before we depart. This sounds like the end of the patch's MSQ. You know what this means to me, Alls, but my purpose need not consume you as well. You're headed into another world. Find what joy you can in the experience. For you are a traveler, an adventurer at heart. This I know. Meanwhile, into 13th. Is that Xenos's void scent? Oh, yes it is. I think it is. Yep, it is. And thus I am returned.
To this world, bereft of saviors.
I really want to know what's up with that void scent. Let paths unwalked, adventures spur, pulses quicken, spirits stir. That's definitely into this SQ. Well, I know what I want to do. The new raid stuff. Charlian, I think?